right. Well, welcome back, everyone, for another hopefully exciting episode of Talk 122 with your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. I am here with Mr. Mike Valentine. Like I always say to our guests in the beginning, excited to have you on.
Thanks.
Excited to hear what you want to say, need to say. All those good things rolled into one. And so for those that don't know who you are, if you want to start by just stating your name and your role in the district.
I'm Mike Valentine. I'm the assistant principal at Machesney Elementary.
Okay.
I've been in Harlem for 7 years now.
Okay.
And was at H9 for 4 years,
Okay.
and at the high school when we moved for a couple of years.
Okay.
Before that, and I taught as a special ed teacher teaching social studies
Gotcha.
and ISS.
Okay.
And before that, I was a principal and assistant principal in Rockford and Rochelle.
Okay. Yeah, we won't talk about those other stuff.
We don't want to talk about those.
We're more happy about you being here in
I'm
Harlem.
very happy to be here in Harlem.
So you mentioned H9. I mean, it's a classic. It's a classic.
Yep.
So if you want to tell the audience a little bit about H9.
H9 was the freshman campus, and I was lucky enough to go to H9 when Larry Smith hired me. When I left administration, and I couldn't have been luckier. What a great group, of which we still stay in contact to this day. And I personally loved it because I have always liked the idea of a freshman campus because of that transition period from middle school to high school, and how much of a struggle it is for the ninth graders.
Gotcha. So in saying that then, because that's one of the reasons why I remember the times when we were thinking about merging the campuses and we talked about transitions, right? And you had a 8 to 9 and 9 to 10, and we were thinking about cutting down on the transitions, and that would be helpful to students. What is your thoughts on that now? Now that it's hindsight is 2020, but now that that's been done for a number of years now, when we think about transitions, how do you think that ended up working?
And there's a lot to cutting down on transitions. I completely agree. But I think it's worked out all right.
Okay.
I think that there was there's an argument for both sides.
Okay.
I mean, I think that there were a lot of relationships built up and a lot of benefits to that interim transition. But then they're new to a school 2 years in a row. So that's that struggle right there. I think that the staff at the high school were awesome when H9 came over. And we came over as a group. And I was very much welcomed into the social studies department, the special ed department there. Harlem has great teachers and great staff, great administration, and it's so you're welcomed no matter what. And I think that the kids saw that. As we go along, I think that there's a benefit to them being in the high school as a whole. And I think that we're seeing that. I think it got cut short with COVID because our first year back over was COVID year.
Right.
And that slowed, I think, some of the development that I think we will see the benefits of as we go along.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you're right. And I was at H9 as well, and love that environment also. So I understand where you're coming from. So one of the reasons why I wanted to spotlight you during this episode of Staff Spotlight is you've been both at the secondary level and the elementary level, correct? Right? Yes. And so when you think of now where your journey has taken you, and as an elementary, assistant principal, kind of compare the two, both secondary and elementary, and just the enjoyment of both. Absolutely. And now where you are today.
Well, they're a lot smaller. Yeah. For the most part.
Can they open up their ketchup package?
As they get through 4th, 5th, and 6th, the 6th graders we help a little bit less.
Okay.
But it does get difficult with the packets. I didn't realize how much I'd be opening packets when I first got there. Each level is unique. I always, going back and forth before this, between middle school and high school, I always, there were different conversations and different teachable moments.
Okay.
And with the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and the little kids in the learning lab, it's just different conversations. You're looked at differently by the by the students.
Right.
I mean, there's a every morning when the bell rings and I go out to greet the kids,
Okay.
I open up the door and I say good morning to everyone, and they all yell back good morning. Are we ready for a great day today? And most of them say yes, and
Right.
they're excited,
Okay.
and they're excited about getting to school. And I think that there's a benefit to the elementary level with the closeness of the kids, because they're with the same kids
Okay.
all day long, with that teacher all day long, and that community that is built.
Absolutely. No, thanks for sharing that. And one of the things I want to ask you too, because I remember when I was at Machesney, as well. Do you stretch a lot more in the morning? Do you? I had to, because I ended up playing basketball with the kids and football with the kids and things of that nature.
There's been a few nights I've gone home and had to ice my shoulder from
Yeah.
playing football. I go to bed a little earlier because when you get up in the morning, and I mean, you're on the go from the start of the day. And I
Okay.
mean, we start at I get to school about 7:15, and the kids are there at 7:40
Okay.
when we start bringing them in. And yeah, you need to get your running shoes on, and
Okay.
there's a little stretching, but part of that's just getting old too. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You're so much younger, you know.
No, I still can't give up playing basketball, and I hurt my foot this weekend. So yeah,
We've
it's just-
talked about this
Yeah,
now,
I just can't give it up. We'll keep going. And so now, if when you think of the students and staff at Machesney who may see this episode,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is there something about Mr. Valentine that you want to share that they don't know about? Something funny, a special talent, anything that you would like to share?
You know, they know a lot about me. I mean,
Okay.
it's pretty much open book, and
Uh-huh.
they ask a lot of questions. And in the year that I've been there, it was funny because this morning I got a pop-up on my whatever my daughters gave me, Time Hop or whatever that
Okay.
showed. It was a year ago today that I got the email from Abby telling me she wanted to talk to me about it and interview me for the job.
Okay.
So it was kind of neat that came up and we went over and talked. But they know I have fun with the kids. They know that I'll play with the kids. They know that I might be a little bit of a kid
Okay.
when it comes to playing and doing stuff with the kids. But they all know that I got 5 daughters. They all know that their range of age is
Okay.
31 to 18, and they're pretty much. There's not a lot that they don't know.
Okay.
They
All right.
don't. I don't broadcast the singing part, but that's all right.
So, wait, whoa, back up. You said the singing part.
Well, some of them know.
Okay. All right.
You know,
You mind to share a little bit with us?
There's a time in my life where I might have been a principal of a high school, and I ended up in the musical as Teen Angel when we did Grease.
Well, the mic is right there.
No.
I mean,
That was a much.
this would be the
that was a
perfect time as
much
any.
younger time, and no, we're good.
All right, no, that's good. That's good. So, embarrassing question that I ask every person that's here. Favorite person in the district.
Favorite person in the district.
Favorite person. Could be a staff member. Could be a student.
Man.
Favorite person.
Okay, so I can always say you.
Yes. Second person out of.
I can say
all these
Abby. No, it's hard to name just one. I mean, the
It's a
relationships I've built, and the people that I've worked with. I mean, I've been lucky with Mr. Smith, with you, with Jeremy. I mean, the principals that I've worked with, and it's fun to do the job. Coming back to teach, knowing what you're dealing with, and it was fun to watch you work and watch them work and see how they handle situations.
For those that don't know, that's the Larry Smith, school board member, the Larry Smith. So
He
just wanted to
was.
put that
That's
out
right.
there. He's the one with all the jokes at the school board meetings, everybody. So, so again, I want to thank you for being on. It was a pleasure to have you and to spotlight you, and I wish you nothing but the best this school year. I'm happy that you are at Machesney and the kids are able to be supported, by you, and you're, like you said, kind of stretching a little bit in the morning and after, and so you can kind of help them out and run around and follow
Have
them.
fun.
So that's good.
Have fun.
So that's good. So,
Thank you very much.
But here's the piece, though. You want to take a shot at the ESPN basket here.
I want it known that in a quick practice I made this, so we'll see.
Yeah, it was close. You want to try again?
I'll
You
try
didn't make the
one more.
first one. Well,
I tried.
You tried, and
I tried.
and I will say he did make his practice one. So that being said, again, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have the wonderful, the fabulous Miss Curless on the podcast. Thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Really
It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
that. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the staff spotlight is, and I know it doesn't look that way now, audience, but my barber, I actually have a barber that cuts my hair, and he's a former student, and I don't know if you remember Jake Lee,
Oh, okay.
but we were talking one day, and he said, "Does Miss Curless, is she still at the middle school?" I said, "Yeah, she's still at the middle school." And he said, "I absolutely loved her." And I said,
Aw.
"Wow." I said, "Okay, well, we got to get her on the podcast." He was on the
Yeah.
podcast last year. So I
Awesome.
said, "We got to get her on the podcast and spotlight her." You know,
Oh, what a nice compliment.
So that was, yeah, Jake Lee. So Jake, if you're watching this, see,
Thank you.
there you go. So for those that don't know who you are, can you start with, just,
Sure.
telling them a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the district, a little bit about your background, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
So this is my 20th year in the district, or not in the district, but my 20th year in education.
Okay.
Education was a second career for me. My original was a communication major, and I basically worked in the field of technology, industrial type stuff. Did some retail here and there, that type of thing, and then one day decided it just wasn't satisfying enough.
Okay.
And one of the things I decided, if I could train adults, because that was one of my my roles, that I could probably do that with kids too. So
Okay.
I went substitute taught in Chicago public schools
Wow,
for a
okay.
semester, and I loved it. And so I'm like, going back to school, Mom and Dad.
Right.
Can I move in?
Oh, I got two college kids who I'm like, you just said could move back in. I'm like, okay, let me
Yeah.
think about it. But okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And I taught at Harlem Middle School for 11 years. I left for a short stint, so 3 years, and went to another district for an opportunity to be an assistant principal. And then the associate principal at the middle school opened up, and I applied for that, and I'm
Okay.
glad to be back home.
All right, well, we're happy to have you back. And one of the great things about doing this podcast is learning things about individuals that I never even knew you had a communications
Yeah.
background and things of that nature. And so that's great. It's great to hear that information. And so middle school. So out of elementary, middle, high school, you could have had your pick. You're at the middle school, right? And middle school, it takes some special individuals to be at a middle school where students are coming of age and all those good things.
Yes.
And so when you think of the middle school and you think of the students, who you come in contact with every day, talk a little bit just about, how you support them and all those things.
So, like you said, I mean, if you remember being in middle school, I do. I would not want
I
to go
do.
back. But it's an age of students just really finding themselves. And for them to explore and talk through things and situations, they just want someone to listen and to hear them. So we do a lot of that where, come into my office, come talk to me. What's the problem? What's going on? And you build those relationships with them, and they have that comfortable adult that they can share their experiences, their concerns. We're all relatable to them because we were in that stage and that awkwardness of our life where we're really just trying to figure out what we want to do, who we want to be, and where our character lies too. So
Absolutely. No, that's great. And for those that, when Ms. Curless says come into her office, she means that, and she has some really nice chairs. So you would be comfortable in there if you ever do make
yes,
it there.
I have some bright yellow chairs that you can have a seat in.
so that's good. And so when you think of, because you've been at the middle school for a number of years now,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so I would imagine a lot of the staff, know you, or I'm sure there's some staff turnover, but is there something that you can share that the staff and or students about you may not know? And you've already talked about your communication background a little bit, but something they may not know about you that you like to do, favorite movie, just something fun.
Okay. I would probably say my staff does know a little bit more about me than most.
Okay.
We do a get to know you activity with our new staff, and then I invite the veteran staff to share their information about themselves too, and we do this during a faculty minute. So we take 2 minutes, they create a little slide, show their family, their hobbies, and so we can make those connections and say, oh, you know what, I never knew that they
Gotcha.
like to go fishing. I do too. So,
Okay.
you know, with a building that has such a large staff, it's hard to get to know everyone truly. So, of course, I presented my my slide back in the day, and when I came back, I implemented this process into the building. But I was a foreign exchange student when I was
Okay.
in high school.
Really?
I got to go overseas and spend my time in Austria with a family.
Okay.
And the reverse happened. She
Yeah.
came and stayed with us as well. So that was interesting. First time on an airplane, first time away from mom and dad.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so that was pretty exciting.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
I think the other thing that people don't know about me is that I absolutely love gummy twin snakes.
Gummy. Okay, we got to dig deeper to that. Gummy
Yeah,
twin
they're-
snakes.
Yeah, they're sour. So there's a sweet and sour part of it.
Okay.
The company Yarbrough makes them. Super yummy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everyone heard that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know how to make my day. Bring me some gummy snakes.
we have to find those. We got to find those. Okay. So when you think about this school year, right? Because last year, obviously, we were coming out. COVID's still here, but it was our first time back, full time. You know, no hybrid, online or anything like that. So last year was a hard year, you know, for us all. This year, though, so what advice would you give for staff, students, parents, you know, to have a productive, you know, 2022, 2023 school year, particularly coming off of the challenging year that we had last year?
You know, the start of the school year was on an amazing positive note.
Okay.
It started out really well. It's still going really well. And I think the biggest thing that we put into place is maybe some expectations of what it's like to be a middle schooler to our incoming seventh graders and helping that transition period. But the biggest thing that I would say is always remain positive and optimistic,
Okay.
and just be communicative. Like, let's talk. If there's issues, please come to us.
Okay.
For the parents, staff, and of course the students.
Okay. All right. So, middle school students, Ms. Curless said, come to her tomorrow.
With all your problems.
Doesn't matter. Come. All right. So, thank you for being on. See, that wasn't so hard. But you thought I was going to forget, but I didn't. Who's your favorite person in the district?
Oh, my favorite person. I still can't come up with just one.
Okay.
There's so many. There's so many helpful people, and maybe on a daily basis, my person might change to become my favorite. But I mean, I really have to give a shout out to our office staff.
Okay.
Like, they help make things run so smoothly, and they are just so helpful and kind to everybody around them, and I really, really appreciate what they do for our building.
That's a great choice. I was going to say Mr. Harris, but that was a great choice.
You know what? He's right up there. He is right up there.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. We have our ESPN shot that everybody, no pressure.
I have
takes.
no athletic ability whatsoever.
So we're going to see if Ms. Curless can make this shot. Let's see here.
All right.
That was
kinda
close.
close.
You got it. And the competitive side has to come out now. Almost. There we go. Well, thanks again for being on. It was a pleasure to spotlight you, and in turn, you spotlighting, you know, the middle school and all the great things that you do. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. We have with us here a special guest from Loves Park Elementary School, correct?
Correct.
I did not want to get that wrong because I hear at Loves Park they'll come after me if I said the wrong school. So that's didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But for those that don't know who you are, would you kind of tell them a little bit about yourself, your name, all that good stuff? I already told them what school you're representing. So
Yeah. My name is Drew Coclasure. I always tell my students it's like a piece of coal, a piece of clay, and then sure, you kind of combine it together.
okay,
Or just Mr. C. A lot of people call me Mr. C.
okay,
Over there. It's kind of crazy though because there's another Mr. C over there, and he goes by Mr. Cleveland.
okay.
But lately he's been going by Mr. C as well, so I don't know what's up with
So it's
that.
kind of confusing a little bit.
Yeah,
It's okay.
like they can't pronounce Cleveland, you know. Last I checked, they just can't win Super Bowls. I know it's too hard to say, you know what I mean? But
So thank you for that intro, and
Yeah.
and I'm glad you highlighted a little bit for the audience, and we're going to get a little more deeper into this of why I wanted to kind of get you on for this staff spotlight edition. I was invited to Loves Park first one of the first days with staff, or maybe it was the second day with staff, and you were actually on as a comedian.
yes,
Right.
yes,
And so to be invited to that and to see that, I was really excited, and I really was like, okay, all right, and that piqued my interest a little bit. And then I got a phone call or an email, I can't remember, from Miss Clark, and she had told me of a conversation that she had overheard that you were having about wanting to be on the podcast, and I was very honored about that, because I'd never usually we pick, we select our guests and we
Yeah.
ask if they want to be on, but I've never had someone actually say, I want to be on the podcast. So that's great. So I really appreciate that. And so when we're talking about like staff spotlight though, and particularly you being at Loves Park, can you tell us a little bit about what you enjoy the most being at Loves Park Elementary School?
Oh, there's so many great things being at Loves Park. I've been at a couple different schools within the district because of like remote teaching.
Okay.
And I did my first year over at Windsor.
Okay.
But
Shout out to Windsor too.
Shout out to Windsor as well. Yeah, it's a good school. But Lisa Clark and I, we go back to my NIU days.
Okay.
I did my clinicals there.
Mhm.
I worked with Christina Gregerson. She teaches second grade.
Okay.
Gene Fauerbach, who's retired.
Okay.
And I loved being there so much. And I had like a class assignment where I had to interview the principal. And I sat down and I talked with her, and we had a great conversation about what it is like working with like ELL students and like a diverse population, and what does that mean to be like trauma informed, stuff like that.
Okay.
And I thought, I got to come back here. Once I graduate, this is the school that I want to be working at. And we've just kind of been working together ever since, reaching out. We had a few hiccups along the way. I started my career over at West Middle School. I taught there for a few years.
Okay.
And then I was in contact with her when I was like, I kind of want to try that elementary thing. And it was actually Tony Brooks over at Windsor that picked me up
Okay.
to come into Harlem. And then Lisa and I, we kind of re-met up again, and I'm back over there.
Gotcha. So a couple things. One, I thought when you had mentioned that you and Miss Clark met in your NIU days, that she was actually a student at the same time as you. So that's not the case.
No,
right?
that is not the case. She was the principal at the time there. She was the...
I was just looking for stories.
Oh, yeah, looking for some stories. Seeing what, but we did bond over a lot of the restaurants in the DeKalb area. Because,
Okay.
like, if you know Lisa, she loves that food. She's
Yeah.
a foodie. I'm a foodie, you
Okay.
can kind of tell.
Oh, I can relate. So I'm doing everything.
Yeah, we bonded over Eduardo's Mexican food over in
Okay.
DeKalb. That was delicious.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. So share with the audience something that they don't know about you. If anyone from Loves Park or anyone else that may see this that know you, we all know you're a comedian.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know that. So is there something else about you that you favorite movie, favorite food?
Okay. Favorite movie. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Okay.
Would
Would not have guessed that.
You wouldn't have guessed it?
No.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll take that,
He's like, yeah, how should I take that? Just wouldn't have guessed Lord of the Rings. I was
Yeah.
thinking more something comical.
Okay.
That's what- but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of like fantasy.
Okay.
Before the COVID days, I had a Dungeons and Dragons club at Loves Park Elementary.
Okay.
That was really fun.
Okay.
I was able to work out a deal with Cataclysm Gaming over here to give like kids discounts. And then Top Cut Comics, which is located right next to Loves Park. Well, there's
Okay.
a fire department there. To kind of help kids out. They got like discounts on
Okay.
like D&D stuff.
When were you?
That would be 2019 to 2020. COVID shut us down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason why I asked that is when I was the high school principal, I was asked by some students to start a Dungeons and Dragons club.
Yes.
And I'm thinking if there was a connection there.
There could have been a little bit, because they're over there now. Like some of them are like freshmen, sophomore. But yeah, we're trying to probably bring that back maybe in like the spring. Might bring that on
Okay.
back.
So with the comedian part of your life, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't even know if I'm saying it the right way, but I just love to laugh.
Yes.
I just do. I love to watch movies that make me laugh. Right now, I love watching Kevin Hart movies.
Yeah.
And so when I saw you that day, and you're making the staff laugh and everyone, so can you give us a little taste of cleanly for the audience?
Oh, for the audience, that's right.
Your routine.
Yeah. So, you want me to give you a little routine?
Give us a little bit. Give the audience a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, one of the nice things about summer, being a teacher, getting off for the summer, is all of the garage sales that are going on. I love going garage sale shopping. And part of the reason that is I don't know about you, but there's always that one hot ticket item that I wanted as a kid.
Okay.
That I'm not entirely sure if it's hard to find, but that was Beanie Babies. You remember Beanie Babies?
I remember Beanie Babies.
You remember Beanie Babies, right? You ever looked at a Beanie Baby recently? You look at you remember the little poem and stuff tells you about them, tells you the birthday.
Yeah.
Says like, July 7th, 1994, maybe October 2nd, 1992.
Okay.
A little mental math here, you start realizing, I don't know if these are so much Beanie Babies as they're Beanie Adults. You know what I mean? They're
Okay.
you know what I
I
mean?
get it, yeah.
You start thinking about like what's going on in these Beanie Babies' lives.
Right.
Like have they moved back in with their parents yet?
Okay.
Navigating their way through that first divorce. Maybe I don't know.
It happens.
It happens, right? It happens to everybody. It happens to Toro the bull. It happens to other people, right?
Okay.
So.
Yep. Good.
Inching his way out of bankruptcy, so
Yeah,
some
yeah.
deep Beanie Baby jokes there.
That was deep.
Yeah.
I remember with my 23-year-old and 22-year-old, and when they were younger, we used to go from gas station to gas station trying to find a Beanie Baby, right? And the ones that they want, or they just couldn't leave the gas station without it. So I'm glad my 9-year-old is not into Beanie Babies, because they just can't find them like that anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know where you can find a lot of them? At Hidden Treasure,
Hidden Treasure.
Hidden Treasure's right here in Loves Park.
Okay.
Yeah, not too hidden. They're like in every stall over there. You can find a lot of them. You know what I mean? It's like they're giving them away. They're giving them away, and then I'm buying them. I'm buying them out. So.
Okay, all right. No, that was good. Thanks for sharing a little bit of things that you talk about, and so if someone wanted to come and see you, obviously, where would they go?
So the Rockford comedy, it's pretty underground right now.
Okay.
But some comedians are working to bring it up, get it building and going. And I know there's a comedian who does some things in the area, and he's looking at building a club here in Rockford. They're gonna call it Screw City Comedy.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting to see.
Okay.
Otherwise, a lot of the stuff I do, it's like over in Wisconsin. Tomorrow night, I got a guest spot at Captain Jack's.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. Going in towards the city, sometimes when I can, hit a mic in West Chicago.
Okay.
That's pretty fun. But,
Yeah.
it's almost like being a teacher. It's like, get up early, and then as a comedian, you're out late, So you're trying to find that dichotomy where it works,
Right.
the in-between hours. So.
Absolutely. And so being a teacher, elementary level, comedian, how do you merge those together in the classroom?
Great question. So my heroes as a kid were always like Mr. Rogers, Bill Nye the Science Guy, LeVar Burton on Reading Rainbow, people that just made education fun, and had a little humor to it. Like Bill Nye, I don't know if he's getting better with age or the videos, as an adult, I look back, I'm like, this holds up, especially as kids' attention spans are so fast. His videos are almost they're on that TikTok level, where it's little 10 to 20 second little clips, and then moves on, and there's quick cuts and stuff.
Right.
So,
well, have you noticed when you mentioned TikTok with LeVar Burton, TikTok has a really interesting way of bringing back old songs and making them popular again, or even people. And the Reading Rainbow theme started coming out from TikTok, and people started to sing it, and then all of a sudden, my 9-year-old daughter is singing Reading Rainbow theme, and I'm like, what? Because I used to do that when I was younger. So yeah, no, that's cool. And so when you're in the classroom, and do the kids ever ask you okay, I know about what math, science, whatever. Can you make me laugh? Do they ever say stuff like that because they know you're a comedian?
They don't know I'm a comedian, really. I
So
keep
now
it,
they're gonna know.
Now they're gonna know. Now people know. Like I kind of keep it kind of close, you know. Some people kind of found out. Lisa kind of found out a little bit, and you know, Lisa, she's like, all right, everybody's got to know. Everybody's.
Okay.
But that's why I love her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's good.
And I love that you came out too to that first event for our Loves Park that day. That was great. I was happy to see you in the audience.
No, thank you. And so now, getting closer to the closing of this, your favorite person in the district?
You know, there are a lot, right? There are a lot. I'm going to say that there's a lot. I enjoy working with so many people, but it has to be Lisa. You know what I mean? You ask if I bring humor every day, and she brings humor every day. You know, she brings that heart to the school. I always say, Loves Park. We're part of the city with a heart. Loves Park Elementary is the school with a heart. You know what I mean? And I was looking at the artwork around here, and did this come from Loves Park? It kind of looks like we saw these in the hallway, and it's here. Like, is it here for me? I don't know.
We just knew you were coming.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say Lisa because she dedicates so much time to the staff. She'll sit down. You know, even if she's got so much on her plate, she'll sit down, talk to you, see what's going on. The family's the same thing, and I admire that. You know, I just admire that about her, and I admire the staff there that just come to work every day and give 100%. You know.
Okay. All right. No, that's awesome. And so, Lisa, well, you have a big fan. You have a big fan. Not like that, but you have a big fan. You might have to edit that part out. But anyway.
Checks in the mail, right? Checks in the mail.
So, a little bit before we go.
Yeah.
Any advice that you want to give to the elementary students as they continue, obviously, this year, you know, coming off a challenging year from last year, what advice would you give them? Because did you DJ the end of the year party last year?
I did do that. I also DJ on the side as well.
Yes.
I guess a plug there. So I did do a DJ like end of the school party. We had like our big celebration in the field day, and it was a good time. We had a good time with the fourth graders. You know, like I always tell my kids, like we're like a team. You know, we win together, we lose together. It's just like the Chicago Bears. If they're not putting up the numbers, they're not going to win the game.
Right.
It doesn't matter if the quarterback has his best game, and they still, you know, the defense isn't like keeping them back, and the other team's scoring. They're still going to lose.
Right.
You know, win or lose, we're still a team, and that's what I tell them. That's what I'm trying to work towards. I see all your sports stuff
Oh,
here.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of basketball. Love that. You know, Uncle Drew over there.
Uncle Drew. Absolutely.
I'm also Drew, so I love that little piece there.
Okay.
But you know, it's like we're a team. We win, we lose, we celebrate the victories. You know, we learn from our losses, and that's kind of like with COVID. You know, with coming back from the remote
Absolutely.
teaching, what can we do? And that's my advice.
All right. Well, thanks for being on.
Yeah.
This is the moment in the show where everyone takes their shot at the ESPN basket here. So let's see if you're a comedian, you're a DJ. Let's see
Yeah.
if you can do a little finger hoops here.
Let's see. Oh, this moves a little bit. I don't know if people knew that this
Nah,
moved.
I don't think I think you're the first person to kind of maneuver that.
Okay, let's see. It's been 0 for 2 so far, so let's see what happens.
Oh, good shot.
All
There
right.
you
I think
go.
it just needed to be moved a little bit,
You
right?
just needed to.
Yeah,
to
we'll
figure
leave that
out.
hanging there. You
Well,
know.
thanks for being on.
Thank you.
I was excited to have you on. I was excited that you wanted to be on.
Yeah.
You know, to the audience again, you know, thank you for watching. This was a lighter episode where I wanted to really spotlight some wonderful staff here. We have many staff members here who, as you heard, and with some of the guests here, we have some great staff here in Harlem. And just wanted to highlight a few, give you some advice for this school year. And as always, I am Harlem, you are Harlem, we are Harlem. Thanks for watching.